Hello everyone and welcome again to Bluetooth Project-Based Learning 2023. In this module, we will learn more about the Aiken language. So at first, we will show you the key resource to learn this language, and then we will move into the basics about how to work with the Aiken development environment. Good. So now I am on Aiken's official website, and here you can see an overview of the language. And if you may ask, what is Aiken? Well, it is a pure functional programming language that was especially created for the development of Cardano smart contracts. It has a lot of features that make it very similar to Haskell, for example, being functional or some parts of the type system, the things that you see here. But on the other hand, it has some difference too. The first is the syntax and the fact that it's a smaller language. Another key point about Aiken is that it provides some toolkit and an environment that make smart contract development much easier. For example, unit test with resource estimation. That is a very nice feature. So the main idea behind Aiken is to be a much simpler language to learn and to provide a good and nice developer experience. So if you want to learn this language, I will suggest you two main resources for you to check out. The first one is the main Aiken documentation, and the second one is the API documentation that regards the prelude, that means the basic library of the language, the standard library API, and the built-in functions API. So let's go to the first one, the main Aiken documentation. At first, you will see some installation instructions over here. If you haven't installed Aiken yet, you can follow up these steps and you will be good. Another key part of the main Aiken documentation is the fundamentals. Here you will see an overview of how the blockchain works and how to design smart contracts. It's a very good starting point for learning smart contract development. And lastly, you will see a language tour with all the details and features of the language. That is a very important resource too. So if you want to learn more, there is the API documentation here with the prelude, the standard library, and the built-in functions over here. In this API documentation, you will see some types, definitions, and some functions over here. You have functions to byte arrays, to dictionaries, to hash functions, integers, and all the features that you may see in the future about this language. So if you have some doubts about how a specific function is implemented or how some type works, make sure to come back here to see how it works. It's a very, very good resource. Good. Once you have installed Aiken, you can check it by running the following command: Aiken-b, and you will see that line. It's very important for you to check out that you have the latest version. If you haven't, you can go to the main repo of the language here and go to the releases part here. And if you click, you will see the latest version, and mine is the latest. So far, so good. But if you haven't the latest version, you can update your Aiken version by running this command: cargo install --git with that URL. That way you will update your to the latest version. Now, when it comes to the Aiken development environment, you will usually use at least 3 commands. Let's see them with the Aiken --help command. Here we can see all the available commands that are, and there are 3 that are very important. First, there is the Aiken new that will allow you to create a new Aiken project. Second, there is the Aiken check that you will use it to check if you are properly using the syntax, or if you are using well enough the types, or even to run some tests. And lastly, there is the Aiken build command. You will use it to build your Aiken project into the Seaboard code. So let's go and try the first one. So first, let's create a new folder, and if we go to that folder, we can type Aiken new and the name of the author of the project and the name of the project. We type enter, and we will see your Aiken project has been successfully created. The project can be compiled and tested by running these commands. So far, so good. If we go inside that folder, we will see the following file structure. First, you will see a file configuration to manage your dependencies. Here, a lib folder where you can place some modules that you can later use in your project. The documentation, and lastly a validators folder. For our first test, we will need a validator first, because this validator folder is empty. So if we go to this part of the course documentation, we will see an example of a dummy validator that is always true. Let's create it. Make always succeed .ak. That is the file extension of Aiken. And here we paste this dummy validator that basically says create a function that is named always succeed with 3 arguments. The first one is the datum that is of type data, the second one the redeemer that is type data, and the script context that is type data, and return a boolean value, in this case the true one, and it has some important curly braces here. If we do Control type O and save it and do Aiken check. Whoa, my fault. Let's run the command where the configuration file it is, that is up there. So if we run Aiken that check, we will do the checking and we will see that it says that are 0 errors and 0 warnings. So then we can do the Aiken that build command to build our project. And here we will see that the file structure has changed a bit. And first we will see that there is a new file, the Plutus.json, that is a specification of our validator and a build folder. Let's go and see our Plutus.json. Here we can see a lot of information, for example the title of the project, the description, the version, the Plutus version, and the name, the datum, the schema, and the compiled code. And that's the relevant information about our validator, right? So that's it. Lastly, there are a few things more for you to keep learning. If you notice, in our last validator, there was an underscore that I didn't tell you about. Can you figure out what it does? If you don't, maybe you can try to erase it and type Aiken check to know it. Second, to the later lessons, it will be necessary for you to have a good grasp about how types and variables work. If you don't know, you can check out the main Aiken documentation, these first 2 lessons of the language tour, here and here. And a third thing for you is to keep exploring, and maybe you can play a little bit with the Aiken help and explore the rest of Aiken commands. There are a lot of commands to learn about, and they are very useful.